In our second reading today from St. Paul to the Galatians, he talks about putting on Christ. And certainly that's a task that you and I are about the whole of our lives while we're here on earth, beginning with our baptism and then continuing all the way through. So what does it mean to put on Christ? It means living the commandments. It means living the Beatitudes. Means living virtuously. And as we're reminded in the gospel today, it also means that we have to pick up our cross daily and carry it. As Christians, we know that we're not perfect, but we really strive each day to act and speak as Christ would have us do. Not being caught up in the ways of the world, the ways that our culture that may be in conflict with our faith would teach us to do. But rather, we put on Christ by following him, by seeking to speak and act as he would in every situation. Picking up our cross daily can have kind of an ominous tone to it. And I suppose everybody has suffering of one kind or another to deal with. And as Christians, of course, we follow the example of Christ and we deal with them. We live with them. We don't run from the crosses that come our way. Another sense, though, of this idea of picking up the cross means that if you're going to follow Jesus, if we're going to try and live virtuously by the Beatitudes, commandments, etc., there's going to be some suffering to be had. Because there will be people in our lives, in our culture, who simply find it distasteful that we're going to try and do the most loving thing in every situation. It's going to hit people hard when, in the face of insults or injury from people, we seek to respond with love. Now, it's a big enough challenge for us to try and respond that way, but when we don't seek revenge, some people will downright find that troublesome and too hard to live with. And they're going to try and make our lives miserable. So carrying the cross can be physical suffering, but it can also be this kind of social suffering that comes from trying to live out our faith and not being accepted by the people around us, maybe even close friends or family. On this Father's Day, I think I hear in the gospel a particular challenge for all dads, for all men. And the challenge is this: putting on Christ for the head of a family, for the dad of a family, is a particularly powerful example. There's been several studies that show that if the father of the family makes faith a priority, makes going to church a priority, there's a good chance that the children will follow. If the dad is not practicing his faith, the opposite happens. People tend to drift. So it is a particular challenge on this Father's Day for all the dads that are with us to put on Christ, to live out your faith. And that goes for this father as well, especially perhaps. The last time you and I will be called to wear the white garment is on the day of our funeral, when our loved ones will bring us to church and they're going to unfold the funeral pall, the large white cloth that we traditionally use at a funeral mass to cover the casket. That large white cloth is a symbol of the white garment we first put on at baptism. It's a reminder that we come to the Lord at the end of our earthly existence and we present ourselves to the Lord. And we have to make an account of our lives. How have we done with putting on Christ each and every day? So we pray today, all of us together, that we can wear the white garments figuratively, not necessarily literally, but figuratively, each and every day, whether it's at work, home, school, wherever we find ourselves. May we put on Christ. May we show Christ to the world by all we say and all we do.